7 days is what has been given to the Zambia Forestry Corporation Zafiko to respond to 10 questions raised by the People's Alliance for Change. This is in relation to controversial Mukula logs seized by government and later sold to China. The People's Alliance for Change, through its president, Anford Banda, wants Zafiko to provide documentation in relation to the auction said to have taken place for the sale of the said Mukula logs, and also evidence of payment by the said buyer.
We also asked for auction policy and procedure because these things are very difficult, so they must have laid down a policy and procedure on how they are going to auction, the Mukula tree. We also requested for proof of advert for the auction because each and every auction, especially when it involves, public property, it has to be advertised in the interest of the public. We also looked at, we wanted to know what is the proof that these things were auctioned. We also wanted information regarding to the pricing standard that was, brought. Where they got the pricing, tell that okay, this is how much the logs are going to cost, and then also the contracts between the buyers and the FICO. Of course, once the tender is won, there should be a contract that should be signed. And that's why we requested for the proof of payment for these logs. We also want shipping details because the shipping details are going to help us to reconcile everything that we've put together and ensure that the people that were present at the auction are the same people that have that are going to receive this through the shipping details. And then the last but not the least is that we wanted to see whether the funds that are being paid for these Mukula logs are being channeled to the National Treasury.
Mr. Banda has warned that failure by Zafiko to respond to these queries within 7 days will force the party to mobilize its members and the general populace in protest against Zafiko.
We want to just give a small warning to Zafiko to say that failure to receive feedback on this, we are going to start a court action to demand for this documentation to be produced, whereas we are going to first apply for a stay so that Zafiko should stop exporting these Mukula logs until these things are clarified. And also, if we do not receive this documentation, we shall apply to the Zambia police in Dollar Copper Belt to demonstrate against corruption.
More than 20 trucks laden with Mukula were intercepted by Zambians who are now being criminalized for the act. So far, 4 people have been apprehended by police, yet no formal charges have been laid. Questions have arisen as to how government went ahead to export the said logs in view of an export ban that is still in force. Movie TV News, Lusaka.